The elections supposedly should be free and fair. We work with the ECSL, we ask them to be open and transparent to political party and the people of this country. This is very important because it continues to show us as a country how far we have come and how best we continue to deepen on our democratic space, and also sending a stronger message that we're coming from out of war, peace building, transition, and how we're becoming more stronger as a country of democracy. So it's quite important. The striking thing about it again is that the level of percentage that this election has been funded by the people of Sierra Leone and relying less on international support. And that alone shows that indeed you can emerge from war to peace building to transition into a proper democracy. And that is where we are now. One of the biggest fear of citizens is the fear of crisis. We live in a society where we have huge level of distrust among ourselves as people, and for far too long before our civil war, after our civil war, we have issue of lack of trust in state institutions, democratic institutions, and that lack of trust is still existing, and a lack of confidence into our public sector. So definitely that has helped to generate hunger, and that has also helped to create a lot of doubt, over a process with several efforts. Effort from international partners, effort from, local organizations to build confidence. But then again, when you look around the socio-economic factors, these have also helped to create a lot of scare, in people's mind. You look at the Ukraine COVID-19 issues, the prices of commodity, the living standard of citizens it's quite scary. That every day, prices are up in the market, and families are thinking barely what they will be able to afford for their, children, and how the next day, how would they survive? All of this creating more tension, and the economy of this country should build around the election, but that is not what we're seeing. What we're seeing, both the opposition and the ruling party are not actually giving us a clear roadmap as to how we're going to revamp this country economy, how they want to build trust in investors, business people who are already investing in their businesses in this country. A lot of business people are crying with taxation. And the issue of taxation, nobody want to take the bold step as to how actually we're going to tax businesses in this country, and how are we going to rebuild, from the shock. So these are issues that voters want to know, but then these are informations that the politicians are depriving the citizens with. The sad reality is what I told you, and we have not been offered with a better alternative, and we as a country, we have been crying with the current, political party that managing the governance affairs of this country. And also, if we have a crisis with the current government, and then we don't have a better alternative, I mean, the people of this country find themselves within the rock and the hard place, as to what really to do. Like I said, the economy should have been a focus of our conversation with regards to elections. Businesses want to know what is their fate, after elections. And we are not getting those conversations. We are not getting those promises, as a country. And then, whatever the outcome may be, it's going to be the voice of the majority of the people of this country. And again, we will be accepting, those other 5 hard years in reality, for us to go back to the ballot box and reconsider if we are better off with whoever emerges as the winner. We're going to continue or we're going to change. So these are always our crises. But in Africa, politicians look at the loyalty of the political party supporters. Some people are deadly loyal to this political party based on inheritance. Like it is our family, our entire family belongs to this political party. We were born in this political party, we were educated in this political party. And so with that, we're not going to vacate. And even though their policies doesn't match to the interests of all citizens, but the fact that their loyalty to the party linked to their family lineage, definitely, they will canvass their neighbors and people who also they sponsored. So definitely, you only look at some families as the only people, but there are other people who survive under these families. They cannot make decisions on their own. They make decisions when it comes to election based on the people who employ them, based on the people who support their children to go to school, who support them for their health care, services, and, all the social things, like people who ensure that when you impregnated your girlfriend or your wife, but they were there to support you, so till the day for the woman deliver. So definitely, these are some of the issues that really in-depth some of our citizens. This government have, a lot of citizens have faced a lot of human rights challenges. You can remember our organization challenged government fighting for over 400 and some amount of citizens who were unlawfully terminated. And we challenged the government of Sierra Leone that those people were wrongfully terminated and they are due their rightful, employment requirement. And later on, their terminal benefit was paid, but later on, government said they don't have money, they're not going to pay them. And we continue to see a lot of arbitrary arrest, lawful detention of citizens. We still have challenges of people having access to justice. Yes, a lot of effort has been made to ensure that we have court in communities that have not witnessed, court sitting for over 30, 40, 50 years, but now they can. But the issue is that, citizens need to have permanent access to justice, not a temporary access to justice. So what we can encourage the government to do is to ensure that, they create a system where citizens are guaranteed of having access to justice. And the criminal justice system happens to be another challenge. The lack of trust within citizens and the authority. You take a look at the police force. Citizens have a lot of distrust towards the police force as to how they handle complaints, as to how they investigate their complaint, and also prosecute those matters. So with those issues, there are still large challenge when it comes to citizens enjoying their civil liberty. I'll answer the last one. I'm not the only one to say. I would say they don't deserve, but then the majority of citizens of this country, if they vote for them, meaning the others think that they deserve, to be in for the next 5 years. And it is a determination of the nation. And then what they need to do is to improve on their human rights records and to ensure that they fight impunity. The president, during his campaign, his previous campaign, when he won and when he assumed office, people were expecting much of him to address the issue of lawlessness, bringing law and order back into the country and creating sanity for citizens. But what we saw, his own government officials were notorious in abusing citizens' rights, and also we were seeing impunity at a high peak. That government officials were doing things and nobody will investigate them and nobody will arrest them. And when you question them, then your life becomes under constant threat. So right-based organizations that advocate for the right of citizens, we have cut middle the red tape within the fight against impunity and the culture of impunity taking his deepest root again in society. So one thing they need to do is to ensure that nobody is above the law and we are all under the laws of this country. So when they address that, then definitely this will help to attract a lot of citizens, to come back and invest, and other foreigners who want to invest. Nobody want to invest their money in a lawless, and a culture of impunity village. The economy. Our people are facing a lot of challenges. Hardship has taken a center base in our society that, urging citizens to lose their dignity. So we want issue of economy, addressing the economy issue of job, for citizens, young graduates, and we also need the issue of environment. We have faced disaster after disaster. We know the bitterness of disaster. So we need to focus our attention on climate change and climate change justice so that we can protect the human security of this country. We also need health. The issue of health is a huge concern. A lot of progress has been made, but we still need more effort to be done, and so we can get citizens to have access to healthcare. The other issue is energy. We're still struggling as an independent country for over 60 years. We cannot have stable and clean electricity. Citizens still struggle to have access to a stable energy supply. These are challenges our people are grappling with every day and every moment. The other issue is road infrastructure. People want to engage in agriculture, but there is no road actually that can encourage them to invest more in agriculture. So these are all challenges that needs to be addressed for whatever government that will take office after June 24. The elections supposedly should be free and fair. Our organization has worked with the ECSL during by-elections, and we work with the ECSL to ensure that they open up the space for political party dialogue, and so political parties to build trust and confidence into the process. And we also engage the political party and the security sector to ensure that they have a frank discussion and dialogue over issues that they have contentions with. All of this is to build trust and confidence into the process. And we have gone through several phases of the electioneering process, and doubt and issues, we work with the ECSL, we ask them to be open and transparent to political party and the people of this country as part of their 7 principles. So we have seen a lot of openness towards the process, and when one's political party challenge, issues that they have doubt in, we always behind the door engage the ECSL. So there was the issue of disclosure of voter register in details, disclosing all Sierra Leoneans' date of birth, phone numbers you provided to the National Electoral Commission. And we urge the Electoral Commissions to attend to those issues. And there was a meeting between the main opposition party executive and the Electoral Commission. That meeting, to the feedback we received, it was fruitful among both parties, that most of the issues that was raised, it was addressed. And so if those issues have addressed, this shows that civil society are working very hard to ensure that we build a platform of trust, a platform of confidence during our electioneering process. We have done that through by-elections, and result coming out, people did not challenge those results, and people accepted defeat. Because the thing about election, you don't have a second position. When you lose, you lose. You have to go back and work on what you plan. So whoever wins, he comes first and the second. So there is no second person. So we continue urging political parties, and ECSL to have an open dialogue platform so that we can build confidence within a system that will be looking after our electioneering process. It's not a one institution issue, it's not one political party issue, it's a collective issue as a civil society or as a country. So I cannot declare that it's going to be rigged, I cannot declare that it's going to be free and fair, but it's supposed to be free and fair.